The thing about Ben Shapiro is a lot of his political takes, like, he says a lot of words, but, like, they don't mean anything.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Aime and welcome back to my channel. I do video essays on the intersection between climate change and social justice, and today we're talking politics. So if you guys didn't know, I actually have a background in political science. That's what I studied in university. So this should be a lot of fun because these political videos tend to have the worst like to dislike ratios. At least that's what happened with my last one. And hopefully I don't get too many like Ben Shapiro stands, because last time there were some really strange comments. But I'm excited to read those again. Not responding though, because I don't need to do that. But let's get into today's reaction. Let's see how many brain cells I lose today.
Okay, meanwhile, President Trump is over in Davos, and he is not the celebrated voiceover in Davos. The celebrated voiceover in Davos is 17-year-old Greta Thunberg. I know.
Why do I feel like he's a little salty? Like, is he jealous that she's so successful at a young age? Like, does that make him insecure in himself?
17. I didn't know she was 17. I mean, the way the media portray her, it's like she's 14, but she's actually a 17-year-old.
I'm really, like, confused as to why she's young in general. I don't know why 14 versus 17, like, that's still, like, a high schooler. So I don't understand why he's making that distinction.
That does not mean she's an adult. It means she's a public figure.
She's wait. How is 17 an adult? Like, the way that he's making it sound like she's 25 and they're acting like she's a child. She's literally underage. She's 17. She is a child. Like, I'm confused.
And she is due for any sort of criticism any other public figure would receive. I know. I was writing a syndicated column.
I get it now. What he's starting the video by talking about her age because he wants to criticize her and probably, I don't know, be mean, be rude or whatever. And he doesn't want backlash of, like, bullying a child, so that's why he's talking about her age so early on in the video. Like, I just think that's so weird for him to, like, start out by, like, oh, she's not a child, so I can be mean to her. That's so wrong.
When I was 17, 18 years old, wrote a lot of dumb stuff. Being 17 and 18 means that sometimes you say dumb stuff. So that's not on Greta Thunberg. It's on everybody who takes her seriously. And the fact that Greta Thunberg is propped up there as some sort of great intellectual force is truly astonishing because, again, her entire spiel is, I'm a child and I'm very angry. So that's her entire
Also, like, she's been doing activism for a couple of years now. She did start as a child. That was her thing. And obviously, as she gets older, she's not going to be able to, like, continue that, like, I'm a child and I'm angry. But she started a movement for younger kids to get into climate activism. So I'm still confused as to why her age is such an issue to him. Like, I don't know. This is just so weird. It's a weird way to start a video.
She's a child and she's angry. And she says this. Right? She's not hiding the ball. She's a child who's angry, and she goes around yelling at adults. And the adults who wish to use that anger as a sort of club with which to beat people who disagree, they say, look at this child. Look at this child. This is an angry child. Why don't you listen to this angry child? My answer is, I generally don't listen to angry children. I have 2 of them. There's no reason for me to listen to angry children that I don't actually love.
I don't really... The thing about Ben Shapiro is a lot of his political takes, like, he says a lot of words, but, like, they don't mean anything. Like, what do you mean you don't listen to an angry child? If Greta Thunberg was, instead of fighting for climate change, what if it was, like, back in the day when they had, like, children working in, like, mines? What if instead of an angry child talking about climate change, she was an angry child talking about the atrocities of working in a mine? I don't think her being a certain age and being angry about something says anything about I don't think that has anything to do with what she's fighting for.
I like my own kids. I don't know Greta Thunberg. Maybe she's wonderful. No clue. But I'm not sure why I would listen to her yell about global warming when she proposes solutions that are patently insane. And I say that advice.
Okay, I want to hear what solutions he's going to talk to us about. I doubt he's going to actually bring up any policy, but we'll see.
Her solutions to global warming are patently insane, and yet they are propped up by everybody in the media. She's a great heroine. We put her on the cover of magazines because her entire agenda is to go around and scream at adults about how terrible the adults are because they are not doing what she wants them to do. So this sort of raises the question, what exactly does she want them to do? Right? Because after all, if she is screaming that the adults aren't doing it, it would be good to know what exactly she wants them to do. So here's what Greta Thunberg wants the adults to do.
Okay, I can't wait. I really want him to actually, like, give me some concrete examples.
And this has been, again, the adult Al Gore shows up and he's like, I'm here, the earth has a fever. And Greta Thunberg is the only thing that can cure this fever. the Al Gore fever. So he was there praising her. She's so important. It's deeply important. So Greta Thunberg, 17-year-old global warming wunderkind, apparently. Here was her solution to the problem of global warming. And it is crazy, guys.
Oh my God, this man, like, he's been talking about, like, a full minute. He's like, oh my God, this is crazy. I don't believe this. Like, this is crazy. Like, can you just, like, cut all of that out and just tell us what you want to say?
We don't need a low carbon economy. We don't need to lower emissions. Our emissions have to stop if we are to have a chance to stay below the 1.5 degree target. And until we have the technologies that at scale can put our emissions to minus, then we must forget about net zero. We need real zero.
Not net zero. So net zero means that we sort of don't produce any additional emissions beyond the rates at which we are currently producing. Real zero? So real zero means that you actually shut down the entire economy of the world.
This is why it's always, like, even me personally, like, I'm not a climate scientist, so I always try to say things that I've gotten from people who are experts in this field. I apologize for, like, not being able to, like, give facts and statistics all the time, but, like, you can tell by his reaction to this, like, he doesn't actually understand the science. I'm not gonna pretend to, like, understand exactly what she was saying, because once again, I'm not a climate scientist, but my guess is that by, like, net zero or negative zero, it means reducing emissions a lot. Like, you obviously can't stop the whole economy, that's, like, impossible. Reducing emissions and then also doing, like, carbon capture or different things that capture carbon and capture greenhouse gases
Of the world. And unless you think that I'm exaggerating.
I do think you're exaggerating.
What exactly she is calling for? Here's Greta Thunberg, what she actually said at Davos, and she was praised by the media for this. The real reason she's getting praised, of course, is because she yells at the adults. And what the left loves to do is prop up children who yell at adults. And that way, if you attack what the children are saying, if you say, listen, seems like a nice enough young woman, like, I'm not arguing with her passion, that's fine. She has an agenda, that's fine too. I'm arguing with her agenda. That way the left can say, you're attacking a child, don't you see?
I don't really understand what he's saying here once again. Like, half of what he says has nothing, like, I was really waiting for this video to, like, actually be, like, the title of the video is Ben Shapiro destroys Greta's crazy climate change arguments. I haven't seen any destroying happening. Like, this is actually really underwhelming and not surprised. Like, I haven't heard a single thing come out of his mouth that actually, like, makes sense or has any, like, policy suggestions or policy arguments against what Greta said. It's just him being, oh, he's just an angry child. And the left,
They're attacking it. They do the same thing with regard to gun control. They love trotting out children so that they can say, you are attacking this poor victimized child.
I mean, school are children being gunned down. So are we surprised that we're going to, like, talk about the kids? The kids are being, so why wouldn't we say this, like, this is hurting kids? When it comes to climate change, we're leaving a worse off future for kids, so of course kids are going to be involved. That'd be like if you're talking about child trafficking and going, why are you bringing up kids? Like, stop talking about how this impacts kids. It's like, that's literally the whole point. Like, I don't understand his argument against children being involved in climate activism or in any other kind of activism. In fact, I remember at my university, there was, like, I was just going to class and there was, like, kindergartners or, like, really young kids that were, like, walking and they had, like, anti-abortion signs. Like, is that not the right using kids to advance their agenda? Like, I hate when, like, conservatives or people like Ben Shapiro say the left is doing X when the right also does it. Like, you can't point, like, what's, like, the saying, like, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house or something. Like, I don't understand how this destroys Greta. Like, once again, I came here to see Greta Thunberg destroyed, and I haven't seen anything that goes against what she said. He's just complaining. This whole video is just whining.
His child, and it's like, well, no, I think that the argument's bad. I'm not attacking the kid. But the reason that the left props her up is,
okay, but why is the argument bad? Like, it's so annoying when it comes to politics, when people don't actually explain why they don't agree with something. They don't actually give counters to things, but they just complain about the politics. Like, this whole video is basically just it's basically just him complaining about the politics rather than actually talking about the policy, which is what I was here for.
She says crazy things, but then she also says that she's mad at the adults. Why won't you listen to the children? The children are the wisest among us. Here's Greta Thunberg ripping on the adults, and this is what, of course, has made her a media phenomenon.
I've been warned that telling people to panic about the climate crisis is a very dangerous thing to do. But don't worry, it's fine. Trust me, I've done this before, and I can assure you it doesn't lead to anything. And for the record, when we children tell you to panic, we're not telling you to go on like before. We're not telling you to rely on technologies that don't even exist today at scale, and that science says perhaps never will.
We're telling you to panic. We're telling you to panic.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not a child. I'm 21 years old. I'm also telling you to panic. You have people who are 90 years old telling you to panic. I'm confused as to why he has such an issue with Greta being a child and saying these things when people of different ages are saying the exact same thing as Greta Thunberg. And I don't understand why he has the need to, like, keep bringing up her age and, like, disqualifying everything she says because of that. Like, it kind of irks me.
I'm telling you to panic. I said I wanted you to panic. She said this 1 year ago. I came to Davos and told you our house is on fire. I said I wanted you to panic. Now, normally when anybody tells you to panic, that's a bad idea. When a child tells you to panic, you're like, no, you're a child.
I'm so confused right now. Like, is this ageist? Like, I've only kind of seen ageism in regards to, like, old people, like someone who's like 99 or something. R.I.P. Prince John. I'm just kidding. But, like, I don't understand. Why does he? What is with him and Greta's age? Like, on one hand, he says, no, she's not a child because she's actually 17. She's like, she's old enough to be able to be critiqued. And then on the other hand, he says, well, she is a child, so I'm not going to listen to her telling me to panic. Like, I don't understand why her age has anything to do with what she's saying. You used to have, like, kids that were, like, 10 years old working in mines. Like, if they, at that time, were talking about how they think there's an issue with that, would he also sit and be like, I don't care what you say, you're a child? Like, that's just so wrong. It's so wrong.
I'm not going to panic over the possible increase in global temperature of, at maximum, 4 degrees Celsius, according to the IPCC, over the course of the next century.
Once again, he's not a scientist, so he's saying 4 degrees as if it's nothing, even though when you look at the science, you understand that even, like, a 1 degree increase is a huge change, and, like, there's a balance, and if you just go too far above it, then you're going to see massive changes.
In fact, what we should be attempting is mitigation, right? What we should be attempting is adaptation. This is not to say that we...
Oh my god. I'm gonna put his take on, like, flooding again because it's iconic.
That all of the water levels around the world rise by let's say 5 feet over the next 100 years, say 10 feet by the next 100 years, and it puts all the low-lying areas on the coast underwater. Right, which, let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
Like, just someone who has that kind of mentality, I don't know why anyone would ever listen to him on climate change. Like, yes, let's adapt by selling our beachfront homes and learning how to swim.
To say that we can't take measures that would lower carbon emissions. In fact, the United States, fracking for natural gas, has lowered our carbon emissions dramatically.
And this is such an idiotic take. Wait, he's literally saying, okay, so he's kind of on the right track. I mentioned this in my video about Jordan Peterson, but there's a point where you have to realize that there's kind of positives, negatives to all different energies that we use. So obviously you have, like, coal, natural gas, oil, like, all of these. They're not all the same amount of evil, and they all have different side effects and different levels of emissions, obviously. I feel like people on the right just cradle the fossil fuel industry so much, and I don't understand it. It's a dying industry. If you're so worried about the free market, then we should stop subsidizing these energy sources and instead switch to renewables, because they are the future, and we can't just keep putting money into things that are killing the planet. But free market.
Nuclear power lowers emissions dramatically.
Oh, I actually do support nuclear energy, so that's the one thing in this video that I'm going to agree with.
But her actual proposal, the one that's being praised, quote, "We demand at this year's World Economic Forum, participants from all companies, banks, institutions, and governments immediately halt all investments in fossil fuel exploration and extraction, immediately end all fossil fuel subsidies, and immediately and completely divest from fossil fuels. Every company is supposed to stop using fossil fuels. Every government is supposed to stop using fossil fuels." Every institution is supposed to stop using fossil fuels.
Yeah, I don't see the issue here. I obviously, like, from the phrasing of this, it's a little unrealistic because you can't just immediately stop using fossil fuels. You can immediately stop investing, switch to something else, and this is obviously something that you need like a transition phase for. So with the wording of it, it's a little hard to understand, but yeah, I do think companies need to switch to better, more renewable energy sources, and I don't think that's hard to comprehend.
She says, "We don't want these things done by 2050, 2030, even 2021. We want this done now. It may seem like we're asking for a lot, and you will of course say that we are naive, but this is just the very minimum amount of effort that is needed to start the rapid, sustainable transition." Well, since you are talking about the end of civilization as it currently exists, yeah, that seems like a lot. I'm just going to put it out there that seems like a lot, and it does not seem justified by the available evidence. It is always easier to get people to rally around a...
What do you mean it doesn't seem justified by the available evidence? Oftentimes when you hear people like Ben Shapiro talking about climate change and talking about these kinds of issues, they act like the information isn't out there for you to like read. I'm going to link down below the reports. The IPCC has like the best reports when it comes to global warming and climate change, so I'm going to link those down below. So we do have the science, like we do have the information out there. Like if you want to find it, you will find it. So the current science does support the fact that we need to divest from fossil fuels and instead put the money towards renewable energy, period.
Rally around a solution. But when it comes to big problems, you should actually be providing real solutions, not nonsense, and then trotting out children to claim,
how is divesting from fossil fuels nonsense? What is not clicking up here?
That if you don't embrace solutions that literally no one is willing to embrace, right? Al Gore would not implement that. He would not. If you were president of the United States, he would not. The Paris Accords were not this. There's not an adult on the planet who sees this proposal as anything other than patently insane, and yet they're all out there like Greta Thunberg, hero of the Republic. It's so irritating and so silly.
I'm still waiting for the debunking. I'm confused. Once again, the title, Ben Shapiro destroys Greta's crazy climate change arguments. How did he destroy? I'm confused.
About your feelings, and it's a fact that the Ben Shapiro Show is the largest conservative podcast in the nation.
Well, that left a bad taste in my mouth. Ben Shapiro is supposed to be like the smartest conservative, big brain boy. And from this video, all I gathered was that he thinks if you're a child, you shouldn't be able to speak on any kind of social issue because you are a child and you are a crybaby for complaining about anything. Even if it's something that personally impacts your life or your future, stop crying, you big crybaby. And then other than that, he also, I have to admit, from what he was reading, I obviously don't know where he got, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this was, like, cherry-picked, not cherry-picked, but, like, these statements were kind of out of context. I didn't watch the, like, original videos that he watched. And then overall, I just don't understand why he had such an issue with Greta just speaking her mind and talking about these issues that do impact her. I'm actually gonna look up, like, how old was she when she became famous? 2011. Damn, that was a long time. She was 11 years old. This girl was 11, and this actual, this video I think was posted last year. But yeah, this girl was 11 years old when she kind of blew up. So she was a child. And obviously that's her brand, and like over the years, obviously eventually she's gonna not be able to like say like I'm a kid and everything, but still. So that was it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of keep you guys updated on the videos that I'm working on. So I'm currently working on a video about whether or not sustainability is elitist. So I'm going to be talking about how different marginalized groups kind of interact with the sustainability community. So that video is going to be coming out next week on Sunday the 25th, so mark your calendars for that. Definitely subscribe if you want to be notified when that video goes up. But I do like kind of inserting these more like chill, sit down, chatty videos every once in a while, because then I can actually post consistently without having to like without having to rush these videos, because I do like putting a lot of work into my video essays, but also YouTube hates when you don't post very consistently, so that's why I do these like more fun chill videos. But that video essay is coming out next week, the 25th, so really get excited for it. I'm like making the script right now and I'm really excited. It's been a lot of fun, like researching for this video and putting everything together. I talk a lot about like social media and society and how we treat people who like don't fit the mold of like the sustainable queen. That makes any sense. But that video is coming out next week. That being said, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for my patrons for supporting my channel. If you want to join my Patreon, I'm going okay. If you want to join my Patreon, I'm going to have the link in the description. I post extra videos. I post videos early. I also do behind the scenes content, and also I do polls and stuff. So just a lot of different fun things. Definitely join my Patreon if you want to support this channel and also just get some extra content. I'm also going to have my Instagram and my Twitter linked in the description. So if you want to follow me there, you can do so. That being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.